Hello, my name is Tori Smario, and for my call to action speech, I have chosen a very controversial topic that has our entire nation divided. This topic is an emotionally charged argument, and all people on both sides of this argument are very passionate in defending their sides. I have chosen to call my audience to end abortion in the U.S. According to the reputable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., every aborted baby is like a slave in the womb of his or her mother. The mother decides his or her fate. Dr. King was a human rights activist who fought for the rights of all human beings, especially those of African Americans. However, Dr. King was also very passionate about the rights of the unborn child. I will begin my speech by defending my view that life begins at conception. I will then move to how abortions are performed, and finally I will discuss one major counterargument of the pro-life movement. To begin, let's consider when life truly begins. According to the American College of Pediatrics, the predominance of human biological research confirms that human life begins at conception. At fertilization, the human being emerges as a whole, genetically distinct, individuated, zygotic, living human organism. A member of the species Homo sapiens, needing only the proper environment in order to grow and develop. The difference between the individual in its adult stage and its zygotic stage is one of form, not nature. So in this quote, all it is saying is that if both of the parents are human, then what those parents create will be human as well. So it's nature, not the question is of form, not nature. The basis of the pro-life movement is that life begins at conception. If life does not begin at conception, and rather it begins when the child takes its first breath, abortion is not murder. Whether you see a fetus as a human life or a potential for life, it has more value than just a cluster of cells. For example, when someone finds out they are pregnant, they are excited because there is a promise of life. No one is excited by just a bunch of cells, so when a woman becomes pregnant and wishes to have the child, the fetus is considered a child. But when the child is viewed as a burden, it is all of a sudden considered to be just a bunch of cells. To me personally, this is very warped thinking. I do not believe that personhood should depend on whether or not it is convenient for the mother or parents. I believe that this is what Martin Luther King Jr. was pointing out in the before given quote. Oftentimes, people of the pro-choice movement will argue for cases of rape and incest. However, I believe that this is just a distraction to the real issue. Rape accounts for very few of the number of abortions performed in the U.S. today. The rape argument is just a way for the pro-choice movement to distract people from the true issue, which is again, when life truly begins. Now that we have discussed when life begins, let's consider how abortions are performed. In my research, I came across a video of a doctor, and this doctor was Dr. Anthony Levatino. He's an obstetrician gynecologist, and he was discussing how a first trimester abortion is performed. In his many years of practice, Dr. Levatino has performed over 1,200 abortions. So in a computer-generated demonstration, he goes into great detail on how a surgical D&C, which is the most frequently done abortion and happens within the first trimester of pregnancy, how it would be performed. One thing that I find extremely interesting is that he tells his audience that in the first trimester, the baby has a heartbeat, fingers, toes, arms, but their bones are very weak and undeveloped. During this type of abortion, the doctor will dilate the cervix using special tools. The cervix is designed to stay closed in order to protect the baby during pregnancy. And once the cervix is dilated, the doctor will then use a suction device to tear the baby to pieces and suck it out of the uterus. One risk of this type of abortion is an incomplete abortion, and this is when pieces of the child and or placenta is left inside of the uterus, causing an infection and sometimes even death. Abortion is a very unnatural and violent procedure that ends a life. This is why I believe it should be illegal in the U.S. Finally, I would like to consider one counter-argument to the pro-life movement, and that is, even if it is made illegal in the U.S., women will continue to have abortions, but will do it however they can, with a great risk of infection and even death of the mother. This is a very weak argument. Just because someone will not follow a law does not mean that the law should not be in place. There are many laws in place today that criminals do not abide by, but we do not get rid of these laws because there should be some justice and order. Without laws, there would be no order. Having abortion be illegal in the U.S. is a step toward a more just society. We have considered when life begins, how abortions are performed, and one major counter-argument of the pro-life movement. Abortion should be illegal in the U.S. because it is murder. It's a terrible fact and choice that many women face today. According to CDC.gov, the abortion ratio was 186 abortions per 1,000 live births. When one considers the amount of loss of life caused by abortion, making it illegal in the U.S. is an easy choice. Thank you.